great deal more is involved here than an artist painting a portrait. A great deal more. The world of the psychic coexists with the physical world, sharing every instant of time, every speck of space. But what a very uneasy coexistence. For always the psychic seems to be like some wild thing, always straining at its own dimensions, always threatening to explode into the other world, the physical world. And sometimes it does.
I suppose I forgot to mention it. My mother was painted by Sargent. You've heard of him, I suppose. John Singer Sargent. Everybody was painted by him in the old days. Then, of course, there was Whistler. I probably shouldn't confess it, but I saw Whistler once, when I was a very little girl, of course. Then, of course, there was Mr. Augustus John. Do you know Mr. Augustus John? He painted people like actresses and writers and those kind of people. Some of the aristocracy, too. Does it worry you if I talk like this? I mean, does it change my face or anything like that? Tell me, how is Jill? Oh, come now. Everybody knows the dashing young artist from Paris is going to marry Jill Barrington. Why, it's been in all the gossip columns. Jill is a lovely creature, isn't she? Her mother and I were at school together. I married an army officer. Very little to get along on. But frightfully nice all the same. Speaking of money, your dealer friend, old Heathcote, asks a lot for your portraits, doesn't he? Still, I suppose you're worth it. Anyone who paints General de Gaulle. All the same, I wonder why Henry insisted I should be painted like this. He gave me these pearls. Oh, sorry. I moved. Henry loves pearls. It's our 25th anniversary, you know. Perhaps he wanted to immortalize the pearl. Oh, well. You know, I've suddenly noticed something very odd about you. You've never looked at me once. Not once. All the time I've been sitting here. I thought artists were supposed to stare holes through their subjects. Or are you doing this from memory? I must. You don't mind my saying so, you haven't exactly caught me. Am I supposed to be that wretched creature peering over her shoulder? You can paint this young lady in her own time, not in mine. Did you hear me? What in heaven's name is wrong with you? Are you ill? Shall I call a doctor? Sir Henry always said that artists were mad, and I used to think that he was being reactionary.
I thought you were painting Dinah Metcalf. Why didn't you phone?
Forgot. Sorry.
Darling. Look, it's only 6 days to the wedding. You insisted on it being May the 7th, and we really must make up our minds where we're going. Anyway, you need a holiday. You've been working far too hard. You look tired. The travel agents insist that we make up our mind.
May the 7th.
Yes, May the 7th. Well, where are we going to go?
I don't know.
Why, don't you care?
Oh, there's the,
Paul? Paul, do you love me? Who is she?
What?
You don't think I'm that stupid, do you? I've known for 2 weeks. Is that she? Is that my rival? Who is she?
I don't know. I can't tell you anything. I simply don't know.
Paul, will you stop treating me like a child? Well, now your taste. I think she's lovely.
Jill.
If you don't mind, I'm going. I'm going to leave you here with her.
I've never seen it before in my life. I've represented artists, man and boy, for 32 years. I've learned to expect everything from you eccentric fellows, but you, my dear Paul, are quite different. If there's some woman you can't get out of your system, say so. That's an old story, I understand. Please try and remember that I have an investment in you. I can make you rich and famous. But I can't do anything if you keep on insulting my clients. Now pull yourself together. How's everything going with Lady Diana? Have you been listening to what I've been saying? I hope you have. Can I come in?
Yes, come in.
I've been walking for hours.
My, I should have thought that you'd be relieved that I was being so civilized about it.
I've never seen that girl in my life before, Jill, I swear it. Help me. afraid.
I can't. I just don't understand.
You know, I've been permission to do 3 different portraits. Each one has ended as that girl. It's as though she were trying to possess me. I can't draw anything without that girl's face staring at me.
Paul, I'm going to call the doctor.
No,
What are we going to do?
nothing.
Paul, you're ill.
It's 6 days before the wedding. We've got to decide where we're going to go. And phone that agency. And where's it going to be? Paris? Berlin? Venice?
If I call Jeffrey.
Venice. I wonder if you'd like Venice. Darling, I'm overworked. Overtired. I just need to get away. So where's it going to be?
Where you like.
Somewhere far away. By the sea. I'm glad we bought that little house. It's the prettiest in the whole of Cornwall, isn't it?
Oh, no.
You said so yourself.
Oh, what house?
By the sea. I love the sound of the sea.
Paul.
Darling, don't be silly. You mustn't be frightened. The sea gives life. It doesn't take it away. I've got a surprise for you. I bought a little boat. You'd love it, Claire. And you know what gave me the idea? When I was flying over the channel, and I looked down on all those little fishing boats. They seemed so lazy.
I'm going to call Jeffrey.
Oh, good. Yes, we'll put that travel agency out of its misery. I'll phone you. Oh, where we decided to go? Of course. Venice.
Yes. His behavior was very odd. He looks quite dreadful. Too bad. Been handling painters all my life. Hated most of them. But I like Paul.
Afraid. You should have heard the things he was talking about. He really thought I was somebody else.
Why wouldn't he see a doctor?
The only doctor that can help him is a psychiatrist. And he's afraid. Won't admit it, but he's afraid he's losing his mind.
Got it. Got a plan. Of course, if it doesn't work out, we'll both be in trouble. It might be dangerous. It'll be worth the risk. Still working in the dark. Have you given up answering your phone? Been trying to reach you for hours. Well, this is Horace Stapleton.
I'm glad to know.
As museum art buyers go, Stapleton is mildly intelligent. More than I can say for the rest of the breed. Anyway, he knows your work, likes it. Might even get you hung in Detroit or Cleveland. Are you going to let us stand here? Well, do sit down. Mr. Stapleton would like to talk to you.
I'm afraid we came at a bad time for you. But your dealer friend here insisted. You see, I'm leaving London tomorrow. But if some other time would suit you... Well, may I look? Yes. This is very interesting. What's that thing in the background? Some sort of symbolism? Yes, I'm most interested.
What do you make of him?
It's difficult to say. I've only spoken to him for a moment. Your friend is obviously disturbed. Perhaps deeply disturbed. I think it might be a good idea if he could be persuaded to come into my nursing home for a while. Under observation. This is odd, isn't it?
Just a bit of place.
Yes, but why knot it like a rope?
How should I know?
Like a garrote.
A what?
It's an instrument of death by strangulation. Sometimes a rope, sometimes a wire. And look at this gargoyle. Sometimes a symbol. Of what? Of evil. If you want a quick, possibly wrong opinion, I'd say he's invented this woman against whom he expresses such violence, so that he won't have to reveal to himself the identity of the real person. The real person. His fiancée. But why? So we've got to find out. Mr. Rowland. Mr. Rowland.
Turn to the right.
Where are we going?
Keep straight on. Cornwall. I'll tell you the way.
John.
Her heart's stronger now. She'll be recovering consciousness in a moment or two. It's a good thing you called me right away. Poor old Claire. And dear soul's a complete recluse. She never leaves her cottage from one year to the next. I don't know how she stays alive. Been in mourning for 40 years, you might say. It happened during my father's time, in 1916, the second year of the First War. The young chap she was to marry was killed before the wedding. They just bought this house as their honeymoon cottage. Poor Claire. She moved in, alone, and has never left. Rather kept the place as a shrine, as you can see. If you're interested, there's something else over there, the lace scarf on the frame. It's an old local custom. The groom gives the bride-to-be a lace scarf with 7 knots in it 7 days before the wedding. The bride unties a knot a day. There are 2 knots. He was killed 2 days before. Ah, she's coming round now. That's it. That's fine, my dear.
The little old lady from the tiny seacoast village passed away some years ago, and she lies buried at last in a small churchyard next to her beloved Jean, dead since 1916. How to explain the inexplicable experience of Paul Roland, his journey into a life that he had apparently lived before? Well, there are millions of people all over the world who will tell you that the explanation is to them quite obvious. Reincarnation. That is the belief that at the instant of death, another is born with the same soul. A single flame passed from torch to torch throughout eternity. Now, perhaps there are others who will offer quite different psychic explanations. But one thing we know for certain, that such phenomena have been reported throughout the ages, many, many times. One of the most celebrated persons to encounter physical evidence of his own reincarnation was the 19th century poet Gabriel Rossetti. For there exists today, indeed, an absolute likeness of Rossetti and the woman he loved, painted some 300 years before the poet's birth. So, qui sait? Quien sabe? Who knows?